welcome. We're going to talk about altars today. An altar is something that gives you a place to focus your intentions, to focus your energy. I love having an altar because it's something that draws me to that place to do my practices. So if you don't have a corner somewhere with a little table where you can set something up and leave it, the other thing you can do is take a plate or a serving tray and set your altar up on there so that you can bring it out for the practices and then move it away out of the way for the rest of the day for the rest of the family. But ideally, set up a special corner just for yourself that feels really good to you. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Many of you know how to do altars, have been doing them, have worked with me before in different programs. But if you're new, I'll tell you some basics, and then we're going to do a special one for this time of year. So normally I would do something for the four elements, the four directions, perhaps a feather in the east direction for the air element, perhaps my little dragon for fire in the south, or a candle or incense. Incense could actually be either in the east for air or in the south for fire. I've also got this little metal bird, whoops, can't really see him, that I have smudge inside that can go in my east or my south as well. And then for the west, a little bowl that contains some water. You could have seashells. I have sand dollars that I use in my altars for the water element in the west direction. And then for the north, that's our earth element. So I've been working with this particular stone. You could also have a plate of salt, a little bowl of actual earth or moss. And that could be a way that you put your altar together. You might have crystals. You might have a photo of something that's really meaningful as far as the ancestors go for you. But that's sort of a really rough outline of what I would normally do for my altar, but still changing it up with seasons. But today, what I'm going to do, and you may do this too, is we're going to create a spiral. So our spiral... I've got some juniper that I went and cut from my yard. Cedar works beautifully. And all of the different trees have different energies. But we have to use what's available to us. I know you can get cedar closer to the solstice and to Christmas. Usually even grocery stores have it. Floral places, greenhouses, all have something along those lines, bundles of cedar, but I'm going to use juniper. So in order to make my spiral, I have too many things here. I have some florist wire that I've had forever. Okay. I found my wire, and it's this very fine, very bendy green wire, and mine is a tangled mess. But I cut myself a piece and I started. So I just wrapped it around one end, and now I'm just wrapping it around as I go and adding the next piece on and continuing wrapping around. The wire enables me to create the curve and the shape, whatever it is that I want. I'm sure you could do this without, and you can see as I get to the end here, hopefully you can see, I just lay another piece in and begin to wrap it around so that I can create that curve. Now I have started, this is south direction. This is going to be the opening where I started here as the south direction. The south direction represents the summer solstice, and we're coming from the light, the apex of the light of the summer solstice. We're entering this spiral, this circle, and circling around to center to the winter solstice, to the darkness. And then we will light our candle, symbolizing the returning light, and then create our spiral going back out, back to the summer solstice, back to the light. This also can represent our spiral to our center. During the summer, we're very much outward with our energy, and as we move into the darkness, we bring our energy back in, just like the trees do, bringing their energy into the roots as they go into hibernation for the winter. And so we're doing the same thing, drawing inwards, and you're all doing this alongside with me as we move into the darkness, going into meditation, to stillness, to really reflecting on our past year and what we want for the new year. Now, as I continue with this, another thing I wanted to mention is different trees have different energies, and I'm working with juniper for a couple of reasons. Partly because it's available to me and I have a lot of it. And also, energetically, juniper represents the energy of protection and purification. And in ancient times, in these dark times especially, protection and purification was very important. And it's important for us energetically as well. And if you're into any of the more witchy things, juniper is related to Hecate, the goddess of transitions and transformation. And I really feel like as this year ends and the new year begins, we're going into the solstice. That's really what we're working with, is transition and transformation. So I thought this was the perfect, whether we're dealing with ancient folklore, with energy, or with a little more of the witchy things, juniper is my perfect plant to be working with. And I'll be talking a little bit more about the energy of different trees when we make our Yule log in the next video. So I'm just going to cut this quick and come back to you when I've almost got this done and show you some of the little add-ins that we will do with this spiral. I've got my spiral completed, working it with my wire, and I also wanted to say, I don't think I have it in here. If you don't have some kind of very soft, thin wire that you can easily work with, and you just can't get your branches to behave, you can also use red thread. Red thread represents grounding. It represents the life force and vitality. And those are great things for us to bring into our altar at this time of year as well. So I've got my spiral made, and now I'm going to put my intention candle, my ritual candle, in center, because I'm going to be using that through our practice. And also, you can add little things in here. You could add some crystals here and there. I've got a tiger's eye. I can sneak that into my spiral on my altar. I've got some red jasper, also very grounding. I can sneak that in there. I could put some things, maybe some plant medicine that I want to have into my base of my candle. And the other thing that I want to have somewhere on my altar is either a little bowl of water, a little bowl or plate of salt that represents earth, or some actual earth, not potting soil that has a lot of peat moss, because when we burn our intentions daily, which we will be doing, you want somewhere safe to put them. So either water or salt or earth. And that can be off to the side of your altar, or you might just bring it in daily, maybe at the opening of your altar, somewhere nearby, so that when we do the burning ritual, we're not setting our spiral or our house on fire. So that's something else to keep in mind. And then you might also want to have space, depending on how much space you have, for if you want to pull a card and have one of your cards in your spiral. So those are all things to keep in mind as you create your altar and what that might look like. Two of Swords. I just pulled it out of the bag without even thinking about it, but just was curious what exactly I pulled out. You could also put some pine cones along the way, and you might introduce, I've got a bunch of branches that the snow is just melting off right now, but different evergreens have different energies, so we could sneak in some cedar, some spruce, some pine, and some maybe a little bit of birch, because they all have different meanings, different symbolism, different energies. And I talked mostly about juniper in this video because that's what I was using when we're doing the Yule log, I'm going to talk more about the energy of other evergreens and other trees as well. So have some fun setting up your altar. Oh, I did forget one thing, altar cloth. Your altar cloth can be anything that calls to you. You don't have to go out and buy a special cloth. I have different colored cloth napkins that I often use for my altars in my practices and in my workshops and retreats. You might have a scarf from an ancestor that's really special to you that can be your altar cloth. I did buy one specific altar cloth, and I have to say I never use it. I don't like it. I much prefer the things that are special to me or specific colors that I really was drawn to, rather than something that had all these symbols specific for an altar cloth. But do what feels right for you. Use what you already have so you're not having to buy things. We'll see you in the next video.